Hey everyone, so we are deep into the Ninja Turtles comic event, the Armageddon Game. This is a massive turtle story that's currently being told in the comics. The event itself has 8 main issues, but also has other things going on in side stories under the Alliance title, and as well as stuff going on in the regular numbered Ninja Turtles comics, the ones that have gone past 100 issues. Take a look at the list here. These are all the installments in the story. You can see them all in order. Now, we've been reviewing them one by one, breaking them down, giving my opinion. And now next up on the list that we need to review is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 135. This part of the story focuses back on Mutant Town. We're starting to see a bunch of stuff come together. Fascinating stuff going on here. Spoiler warning, we're going to talk about everything that went down, but let's waste no time and dive on in. So the story starts off with Donatello in his lab. He seems to be running experiments with that crystal he got when training with the Shredder a while back, and he calls it a thin place crystal. Now the thin place has been referenced before. It seems to be some type of pocket dimension within our dimension. We've seen the Rat King in it sometimes. It's almost like wormholes that he uses to get to different places on Earth. We've also seen his sister, or Shredder's love interest here in the story, regaining her strength there at the moment. She's currently incapacitated. I'm sure they'll circle back around to that at some point. But anyways, Donatello looks to be installing pieces of the crystal into a weapon that he possesses called the anti-gravity gauntlet. He says that it powers it on, but that it's inefficient. He says that until he can determine where the crystal's power comes from, he won't know the limits this energy has, but that it's a promising start. Now, this is when we see one of the fragments of the crystal get sucked towards a pencil. It's almost like it's attracted to it. And then we see Donatello move his arm over it, and we see that this creates some type of patterns in the air. Donatello says, "Evoke, then revoke," a common saying we've seen the turtles say as they use some of these new mystic techniques the Shredder taught them. Now, it is at this point that the Triceraton girl, Seri, or Regenta Seri, that's hiding out here at the turtle base, interrupts Donatello. He tells her that he's working on something important and that she can't be in there, that the Utroms will eventually find out where she is and that they need to be ready. Now, as we, the readers, know from the last issue of the main run of the Turtles comics, there is a fox in the henhouse already. Anyways, Seri leaves the room and goes to where Carmen and the little pink turtle, Lita, are welcoming the new group that Jennika dropped off. Carmen says that they're on lockdown now, that no one is getting in or out since the Utroms are now in town. Seri says hi to everybody, and when Jeff, the Utrom disguised as a mutant fox, sees her, his eye begins to glow. He asks Seri for the bathroom, and Seri begins to show him the way. When they leave, Lita, the little pink turtle, says that he smells funny, and this causes Carmen to get up and go follow them. Now, we do see before Carmen catches up that he was about to kill Seri while she wasn't paying attention, but luckily Carmen catches up before he's able to do so, and he plays it off, so still nobody suspects anything. Seri and Carmen drop him off at the restroom and go back to where everyone's at. It's here where it jumps to Jeff as he's in the restroom, sending coordinates to the rest of the Utroms, who, as we know, are in Mutant Town, disguised as more mutants. Now, it's at this point in the story that it cuts back over to Jennika, who appears to have not stayed at the base with everyone else and is still out trying to patrol the streets of Mutant Town. And we say trying because, if you remember, Mutant Town is in absolute chaos. The fabric of their society is falling apart ever since the Ninja Turtle clones, who some believe are the actual Ninja Turtles, attacked Baxter Stockman and the TCRI building. Now out here, Jennika appears to be protecting some citizens and has her hands full. Things seem to be going south when out of nowhere, ninja stars fly in and hits one of the guys that she's fighting off. We see that it's Alopex, who has been missing for a good while now. I believe ever since the turtles began training with the Shredder. For those who may not know, she didn't like that, and this caused her to leave the group. But now we see that she's back, and she helps Jennika fight the bad guys. They mention the Shredder thing briefly, but Alopex says she doesn't want to hear about it. Now the story jumps back over to Donatello, who's back in his lab, trying to work out where the crystals draw their energy from. Now the crystal that got stuck onto the pencil catches his attention. He picks it up and begins to write his name with it on a pad, but the words come off of the page and manifest themselves into real life. Now this is a cool throwback to the old original black and white Mirage Ninja Turtles comics, where Donatello meets a guy named Kirby with a pencil with similar powers. But yeah, anyways, Donatello is amazed at what he's seeing here. He begins to draw more with the pencil, and he ends up drawing what look like patterns and ancient writings that almost make this Doctor Strange-like projection that Donatello here holds. He exclaims, "Yes, space and time," and he looks super excited here. so it looks like Donatello is about to tap into something massive that's going to help out him and his team, when all of a sudden someone starts speaking on the broadcast system, and this catches Donatello's attention. It's one of the mutant clones, and he shows Man Ray. You see that Man Ray is in a cage here. I believe he's been in there for a while now. The Turtles and Sally, who's in charge of Mutant Town, put him in there because he was a danger, and I think they were gonna figure out some type of judicial system for dealing with that, but I don't believe they ever got around to it with all the chaos that's been going on. The Turtle clone says, "Listen up, Mutant Town. This here is the first hero of the mutant uprising, Man Ray, our fellow mutanimal. We're here to release him from his unjust imprisonment. Mutanimals rule." Now, just a reminder again for some, a lot of people think these are the actual Ninja Turtles. Anyways, we can also see Sally is here next to Man Ray, and she's in another cage. And when Donatello sees this, he freaks out and calls Jennika and tells her to get to City Hall immediately, that the Turtle clones have Sally. Jennika and Alopex make a run for it. Donatello here begins to draw again with the magic pencil, repeating the words in a row, and then he says the control of space and time, as we see a way bigger version of the thing that he had drawn before. This time it's floating above him, and he looks up at it with a big smile on his face. Don appears to have made a breakthrough. To what? We'll have to wait and find out. It cuts over to City Hall, and Jennika and Alopex have arrived. You see that there's a crowd of people outside. Now Jenny and Alopex sneak in, and they can see the Turtle clones standing by the cages with the two prisoners. The Turtle clones are still broadcasting when suddenly Jennika and Alopex attack. The clones immediately yell, "Fall back," and retreat. And this is when the Turtle clones enter into a room where coincidentally Raphael and Old Hob are just arriving. So yeah, it looks like Raphael is back in town, and he's brought Old Hob with him. But as soon as Alopex sees this, she becomes upset. For those who don't know, she's in a relationship with Raphael, and she yells at him, first Shredder, now Hob. She doesn't like that he's working with him. Unfortunate. As we, the reader, know, these alliances are being made because of how big the threat from the Rat King is. But Alopex doesn't know this, and so she takes off. We see her sometime after this alone on a rooftop saying, "I'm done with all of this." The story cuts back over to the Turtle base where Donatello is. Everyone who's hiding out here are now gathered playing video games. When Pepperoni, the Turtles' little pet, runs off, Seri goes after Pepperoni, and we see that Jeff, the Utrom in disguise, follows her. Once he has her alone, he grabs her by the neck and begins to choke her. Pepperoni jumps on his back and tries to bite him, but he bites Pepperoni and launches her across the room. The commotion gets the attention of the others, and they rush in. They tell Lita, the little pink turtle, to go get Donatello, and the rest of the group jump onto Jeff in an attempt to stop him. It jumps over to Donatello, who's on a call with Angel, who says she has an Utrom problem, when Lita comes in and tells him about what's happening in the other room. So we'll see what Angel's talking about here, probably in a future issue. But here Donnie rushes off to see what's going on with Seri. He yells at the Utrom and points his new gauntlet invention at him. Just as he's about to fire, we see that it malfunctions. This is when the robotic face of the Utrom opens its fox mouth and blasts Donatello across the room with a giant laser. As everyone watches in horror, Donatello begins to get up, wondering what went wrong with his gauntlet, and this is when he gets ready to fight Old School with just his bow. The two charge at each other, with Donatello getting the best of the Utrom, ripping off the Utrom's mechanical hands and knocking him to the ground. The robotic fox body lays there, and Donnie gets close to inspect it. Then, without warning, the fur all around the robotic body falls off, and the abdomen begins to open up, and an Utrom with razor sharp teeth comes out flying at Donatello's face. This is where the book ends though, so we'll have to wait and talk about what happens in our next breakdown. But that's it, everyone. That was my review of issue 135. A lot of exciting stuff going on. It's going to be very interesting to see how Raphael deals with those turtle clones. He's there with Jennika and Old Hob, so it looks like we could potentially be getting some Turtles versus Turtles action pretty soon. That's going to be cool. Also, what's Donatello going to do with that Utrom, plus the other Utroms who got the coordinates sent to them? They're going to be on their way soon. So that's going to get crazy. Still a lot to uncover in this Armageddon Game event. If we look here at the checklist, the next issue we're going to cover will be one of the main books of the event, the Armageddon Game issue 4. The main books, at least from what I've noticed, appear to be bigger in scale, so that should be super exciting to cover. Can't wait to break it down and see what went down. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Follow on all the socials, links are in the description, and I will see you guys in a little bit with another video. Take care.
Armed.